guest speaker for today. We have Kate Bradley Chernis from Lately. Kate, I'll let you start off with a quick introduction to yourself and your company, Lately.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kirsten. Great to be here with everybody. Thanks again. So Lately makes social selling and social marketing effortless and way more effective by using artificial intelligence to automatically turn blogs or news articles or any text content or videos and podcasts into dozens and dozens of amazing social posts.
Okay, well, that's really cool, and I think it really ties in with what Matthew said earlier about, how we're truly becoming a digital selling program by leveraging AI. So one of the things that we always talk about when we're talking about digital selling is engagement, and that actually goes for both marketing and for sales. So can you talk a little bit about why engagement is so important?
Sure. I mean, engagement is really marketing and sales 101, as I'm sure many of us understand, right? And as Matthew and Steve were both talking about, it's all about the connection, right? So you buy from me because you like me. Eventually, that works its way in there. There's a product, of course, as well, but the like is the biggest factor. And robots can't replace that, right? So it's important to have AI in the mix, we believe, to help automate the annoying parts, but to make sure that the human has a space to be able to connect with the customer and to leverage that emotional connection and engagement.
Great, great. Do you have any kind of stories that talk about how people that are maybe not inside the norm of where you would expect that sales engagement to come from, how they have, perhaps in the customer service organization or a marketing organization, how they have drawn better engagement through the use of different tools and engaging social posts?
I sure do. So naturally, we actually use our own product Lately to market ourselves. It's a term called dog fooding. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but I think Purina invented
we call it
that.
Champagne,
where they
drinking your own champagne.
There you go. Okay, so drinking your own champagne, right? Exactly. And so what we did actually was we found that our customer service team, because they were having such deep engagement with our customers, that they were outselling our sales team. So we canned our sales team. Believe it or not.
Whoa.
And and we started dog fooding our own products. So we would take the podcasts or interviews or articles that we were getting, earned media that I was doing, and then use our artificial intelligence to turn those pieces of long form content into dozens and dozens of social media and then broadcast them out over time. So it was like the new evergreen, right? So instead of one message repeating itself over and over again, you get 20 different messages describing this interview, for example. And what we found was that our customers had a deeper engagement because they had different points of access. And so at the same time, we take every target that comes our way. We have an intern personally connect my LinkedIn with them. So they get a message pre-written from me that says like, hey, so-and-so, I want to connect with you. And then we also follow all of their social accounts with our branded social accounts. And so we're really warming them up, right? So you can see what's happening here. So by the time we get to them, the leads are already warm. And so for us, how it works is the social team goes out now because they're using Lately to do the push content, right? So they're not having to, the sales where our customer service team doesn't have to think about what to say. They can spend their time reacting or going out and creating conversations. So sales goes out, creates conversations, gets people in the mood for a demo or pushes that question, and then passes on to CS, and then CS closes them. And so because of this method that we've been using, we increased our leads by 200% in just 6 weeks.
Wow, that's impressive. I just want to make sure that our sales teams realize we're not canning you. We need our sales teams. But what would you say is kind of the biggest takeaway from that story?
Yeah, I mean, so it's really just, what I did was I just took what I saw was a deep engagement arena, which happened to be customer service, and boosted it into more of a sales combination. So the idea of saying sales needs to become more like marketing, more like customer service. These components, I feel, are all in one, and that's what's working best. And we're seeing our customers have a similar, we teach this message, we see them have the similar effect out there. But it's the idea, as both Matthew and Steve were saying, of getting to know your customer and letting social media, letting artificial intelligence, letting the robots help do the busy work so that you can actually learn more about them, have conversations. And it's as simple as, I mean, I call it smiling online, right? So it's as simple as talking about the weather. It's as simple as asking where you're from. These kinds of things are such a huge bridge to just getting someone to open up and start asking you questions, and then they're selling for you, right? That's what you want, is for them to be leading the conversation.
Right, right. Okay. But I just want to point out that I also think that as much as sales needs to become more like marketers or customer service, I think that marketers also need to become more like sales and customer service as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the job of everybody to be selling all the time, right? And so all these components move that forward. And I think that's, to your point, is if everybody's thinking that way, then there's a direction of the conversation. One of the mistakes that people make in marketing and social selling in general is not having an objective of where they're going with their messaging, right? It's not just, hi, how you doing, just for the sake of hi, how you doing. It's hi, how you doing, I want you to buy something, right? So you got to get there eventually. You have to know that's where you're going.
Yeah. So, to all this talk of robots and artificial intelligence, where does the human person fit in to the whole picture?
Yeah, smart question. So the human always brings about the motion. I mean, what I love most about humans is we make mistakes, and mistakes make people perk up, right? So I had spent another career in radio, and I used to work for XM Satellite Radio, and we were recorded all the time. But we would purposely leave in mistakes because that's when people turn it up. That's when they lean forward. And so, you don't want to be making, by mistakes, I don't mean being ridiculous, right? I just mean being human. Does every component of your speech need to be perfect when you're writing messaging? No, because you don't talk like that. Use contractions when you're writing online. Write like you talk. That's the easiest thing, is if you're writing a messaging, even if it's an email or a blog or a social media message, read it out loud to yourself. And if it feels weird or uncomfortable for you to be reading, it's weird for the person on the other side to be reading.
So in other words, don't be Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, loosen up. Exactly.
Very good. Okay, we're almost, we have like 1 more minute left. So just one last quick question then. Why is it so important to engage, not just sharing, but what about actually commenting on content that's out there?
Right, so that's where you get I call it the thirds rule. So 1/3 of your social media efforts, your marketing efforts, your sales efforts should be broadcasting your own stuff about your company. Another third should be broadcasting other people's things, so sharing other content that's relevant to yours or your business. And then the other third should be engagement. And when you put this combination together, you get on average a 40 to 80% lift, right? It's huge. It's undeniable. And the reason the engagement piece, that last third, is so important is because people have egos. So they like to be acknowledged. They like to be thanked. They like to be, the commenting is all a form of that, right? It's just lifting somebody else up, and they do it in return. Like begets like. It's the golden rule.
This is true, and actually people get a dopamine rush when you comment or engage on their stuff, which is so interesting. And that dopamine rush is, produces really good emotions and good feelings. When you create an emotion, you create a memory. All of these things work together. It's funny how physiologically we're so attuned to those good feelings and memories. Well, thank you, Kate.
Absolutely.
This has been a fabulous interview. Thank you very much for your time. Any last words that you want to share before we move on?
Thanks, Kirsten, so much. My last word would be don't be afraid. Just try it. Get out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. Have a great rest of your day.